Shalom, family. Shalom, everybody. Gonna give it a second before we start. Waiting for more people to hop in here. So, shalom to everybody that's gonna tune in. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's been a little minute since I've been live, but all praises to the Most High. We back. We are back. Let me see. Hey, before we start, if y'all can, because I don't know too much about the YouTube algorithm, but if y'all can like this, share it. Um, Also, to get the notifications, you got to hit the bell to receive the notifications because apparently people not getting when we upload. They're not seeing it every time we upload. And for some reason they think we've been out the loop all this time when really we've been still going at it. So you got to hit that bell to receive the notifications. June Legend Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, David Reed, Shabbat Shalom. We're gonna start here in a second. Shalom. We're gonna start here in a second. I just want to give a time for everybody to join in. Hold up, give me a second. Because we're gonna talk about what's going on today in the world. A very hot topic, if you will. AH, Shabbat Shalom. This is it's very important as it pertains to the second coming of Christ, Yahweh Shah. And we understand that all the world events, everything that's going on in the world are signs that's leading up to a second coming. So we must be aware and be prepared as much as possible spiritually for the things that's coming in the world. So as y'all can see in the title, it says food shortage is Bible prophecy. Food shortages is Bible prophecy. And on top of that, what should we be doing? On top of that, what should we be doing? So in other words, the food shortage we know is famine. That's a food shortage. It's a famine. For those who don't know, all throughout the Bible, it talks about famine and how the Most High going to bring famines and how the Most High did in past time did bring famines. Great famines. Now, for us, it seems so far fetched because we never really experienced that, but we can best believe it's going to happen in these last days. It's already happening in certain countries, other countries. It just didn't hit globally as bad it can get. And America doesn't haven't really experienced the famine yet either, but we can best believe everyone going to experience a famine at some point in time. Now it may not be this year, it may not be next year, but we can most certainly believe and be assured of that a famine is going to come. It could be 5 years from now. But it's important that we understand these prophecies and believe on the prophecies and to act accordingly. So once again, Shabbat Shalom to everybody tuning in. Shabbat Shalom, Lord willing, everybody having the blessed Sabbath. Like I said before, for some reason, people not getting the notifications. So you got to hit the bell for when we go live, so you can see when we upload. Let me see something real quick before we start. Let me see. Yeah, because YouTube Yeah, crazy. So Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. So let's get started, right? Let's get started. Let me share my screen real quick because we're talking about famine. Let me share my screen real quick. Let's do this. Let me share my screen because I want to pull some things up so y'all can see. Share. All right. Okay. So we're talking about famine and food shortage because it pertains to the Bible and how it is Bible prophecy. So here it says famine, extreme scarcity of food. It says a shortage, a lack, dearth, deficiency. These are all examples of famine or other words for famine. And we know America and all across the world the world is talking about food shortages and also baby formula shortage. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but it's ridiculous. Everything is not everything, but a lot of things are deficient, and we're going to feel the effects of it. So let's look this up real quick. Let's go ahead. I know it's Wikipedia, but let's go ahead real quick. It says a famine is a widespread scarcity of food caused by several factors, including war. Now we understand this whole Ukraine and Russia thing and how that plays a part of it because it does play a major part. And we're going to read a little bit of that because they do play a major part. So war, natural disasters, crop failure, population imbalance, widespread poverty, and economic catastrophe or government policies. So all these different factors can cause a famine. And we know a few of these that's happening now. War, crop failure. You have now I'm not sure if it was a rumor or not, but apparently farmers were being paid off to destroy their crops. They were being paid off to destroy their crops. And not only that, but you have these what they call it, these food processing plants burning down all across the country. All right. Things like that cause famine. Let's jump ahead real quick. And we're gonna dig it out in the scriptures, but I just want to bring this out first so we can understand what we're dealing with. It says Biden planning to disseminate food shortages, quote unquote. It says the story comes in the wake of a presidential prediction that food shortages were about to become a reality due to the war in Ukraine. While addressing the subject, President Biden made a gaffe, if I'm saying it wrong, Salakia, that made it seem that the food shortages were in fact planned. It says, quote, we had a long discussion in the G7 with both the United States, which has the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. Quote, Biden said to NATO headquarters in Brussels on March 24th. It says the video has been removed by Facebook. The transcript of that address has also been altered slightly. And that's what's going on. When talks about the food shortage and all these things happening, the crops burning down, farmers' crops being destroyed, plant fires, outbreaks, these things are being covered up. But these things have a great effect in causing a famine. And we understand that this country is going to feel the effects very soon. Like I said, it may not be this year, it could be next year, it could be 5 years from now, but America's going to feel the effects of all these things, these factors taking place. Let's jump down a little bit. It says, what does it say? Waves of fire. It says, while Biden blamed Russia, fires cropped up all around the U.S. in food production facilities. Despite Biden's deflection, many of the fires occurred before the conflict in Ukraine. And when we look here, this is a list of all types of incidents of fire breaking out at food production facilities. I'll just read a few, not all of them, but it says on Saturday evening, a fire broke out at Purdue Family Facility in the South Norfolk area of Chesapeake, North Carolina. Jump down a little bit more. We're going to read a few. It says, in the middle of the night on March 23rd, a fire broke out on the roof of the General Mills food processing plant in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Look at this. It says, on March 28th, Maricopa Food Pantry, a local food bank in Arizona, lost 50,000 pounds worth of food in a fire that occurred just 15 minutes after their food bank closed. According to CBS affiliate Arizona's Family, AZ Central cited CEO Jim Showorth and stating that 15,000 pounds of meat and 40,000 pounds of canned goods, other commodities, were lost in the blaze. You know how much 50,000 pounds of food that is? That's a lot. That is a lot of food that went to waste. Let's get about one more. But you can see all these incidents of these plant fires breaking out and destroying food. Look at this. Let me read this. Let's read this one. On February 22nd of this year, a propane boiler explosion caused a fire that destroyed the Shearer's Food potato chip plant in North Oregon. But there's so many more other incidences of these fires breaking out and destroying and damaging major parts of the food processing facilities, which means it can cripple the production of food or the processing of food to get to the markets. Now, if these things are crippled and destroyed, it can't process the food to get them out to the markets. So, in consequence, your market shelves not going to be stocked, which means what? Shortage. That's scarcity. That's what this causes. Look at all these incidents, even taking place last year in 2021. So we can anticipate a shortage. It's going to happen. But these are Bible prophecies. It says Snopes debunked the claim by listing 26 such incidents and noting that none of the incidents were determined by authorities to have been caused by arson. Yeah, that's your fact check stuff. Try to cover it up and try to say that, you know, these things are not really happening or there's no conspiracy or no agenda behind it. But we all know this. We know this because the Bible talks about it. It says Snopes claimed that such fires are relatively commonplace in a country with 36,000 food and beverage processing establishments in operation. It says, watch this, at the same time, 27 million chickens and turkeys being raised commercially are being culled because of bird flu. Last week, the FBI warned that ransomware attacks were targeting farmers. These attacks typically happen during the critical planting and harvesting season, with attackers hoping to disrupt operations, cause financial loss, and damage the food supply chain. So that's the effect that all these things happens. It affects the food supply chain. And if the food supply chain is affected, then your markets are going to be affected. That's how it goes. It's a chain reaction. But that's just one. It's more things that cause or that can cause a famine or that is going to cause a famine that's happening in the world. But before I go there, let's jump to Matthew real quick. Matthew 24. Let's get the prophecy first before we jump on to it. Matthew 24. Let me fix my camera real quick. Give me a second. Let's do this. Let's do this right here. Let's do this. All right, there we go. There we go. Let's do that. So let's get the scripture real quick. In Matthew 24, we're going to start on verse 3. It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" Verse 4, "And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." So the part we're focusing on is the famine part, because Christ said that these things are going to happen, and these are the signs of his coming. So we seeing the prophecies happening. We seeing the prophecies. So we know that what? Christ's return is close. It's very close. Let's jump here real quick. So while also the like I said before, these food facilities, they being burnt up and damaged, that's affecting the food supply chain, but also inflation. It says inflation hitting food prices globally as shortages begin. So because of the food shortage, price gonna go up. Supply and demand, that's how it works. When there's a low supply of something, price gotta go up. If there's a high supply, price go down. But as the food or the famine continue to grow and worsens, the price is going to keep going up and going up and going up. So it says here, and I'm only pulling a few sources just so we understand the effects of different factors that's causing this famine. It says inflation, which is at a 40-year high, is working its way into the wallets of Americans in every which way it can. It says gas prices are at all-time highs. It says the stock market has been tumbling inches closer to being considered a hibernating bear market, and the items you love at the grocery store are getting marked up. It says food prices rose 1.5% from March to April alone. Food prices in particular have been rising and hitting Americans close to home. And the program may only get worse as farmers are warning of a coming shortage of staple crops, including corn, wheat, and soybeans. So check this out. It's real when you have the farmers warning of a shortage, because they are the source of the food. They are a direct source of the food. So if they coming out and saying, listen, y'all, it's going to be a shortage. We can't maintain this stuff. We low on fertilizer. Things getting expensive. Crops getting destroyed. A shortage is going to come. If they saying that, then you best believe it's going to happen, because they are the source of the food. They growing the food and they distribute it to these companies and these plant processors to get the food out to the markets. So if they saying it, you got to take heed to that, because something is going on. Let's continue. It says breakfast items such as milk, bacon, and eggs have seen significant price rises over the past year. Now, we don't care about bacon because that's pork. We don't care about that. It says bacon's up to $1 per pound. Yeah, whatever. We don't deal with that. We know that. But things like that are rising. The meat prices are rising. Eggs, dairy, things like that. Wheat, those prices are rising. It says the United States Department of Agriculture estimated food prices at the grocery store will rise 5 to 6% across the board in 2022. It says the USDA gave the following price increase predictions for 2022. It says beef, poultry, fish is going to be between 5 to 6%, eggs, dairy 6 to 7%, fats and oils 8 to 9, fresh fruit 6 to 7, fresh vegetables 4 to 5, sweets 5 to 6, and bakeries and cereals 6 to 7. So here's what they're predicting to happen because of inflation. It's going to go up by a lot. It says the price of citrus fruits has risen 19.5%, leading to a case of a case of limes costing more than a bottle of top shelf tequila for some bars. How in the world does the price of citrus fruit can cost more than a top shelf bottle of tequila? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Prices are going up because of these shortages. It says Americans are still spending plenty on groceries, choosing instead to cut back on discretionary spending. It says major retailers Target and Walmart both report massive profit losses in 2022 compared to 2021, but both said grocery sales were still going strong despite losses and inflation. Yeah, because inflation, it didn't get to its peak yet. It's going to come to a point where it's going to be almost impossible to buy food to sustain yourself. It may get to that point. And during that time, people are going to be panic buying and trying to get what they can, buying everything up to prepare for this. Let's keep reading. It says the war in Ukraine has also had an impact on global food prices worldwide. And that's why this whole, part of the reason why this war is a big thing, because it affects the world. It does. It affects import and export. It affects basically export and import, basically, for major food supply. It says in Europe, wheat prices are up 74% and palm oil prices have risen 24%. It says the United States went so far as to accuse Russia of weaponizing food in its invasion of Ukraine, saying Russia was holding grain hostage from millions of people around the globe. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Russia and Ukraine, they I think they lead the world in the exports of, I believe, wheat and fertilizer and things like that major companies, buy from. It says the director of the United Nations World Food Program on Thursday warned of a coming global food shortage, saying 300 million people could face a crisis level food shortage. So guess what? Famine is on its way. Famine is on its way, it's coming. The Bible prophesied this. We seeing the prophecy come to life. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing the prophecy come to life through all these different factors and claims of food shortage. We see what's coming. Let's go ahead and jump to Second Esdras real quick. Let's get more on that. Second Esdras chapter 15, and we're going to start on verse 1. More prophecy. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Verse 4. It says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So what we're seeing here and what we're going to experience is not just an American thing. It's not a thing that's going to only affect the United States. It's going to affect the whole entire world. And that's why it says the United Nations World Food Program on Thursday warned of a coming global food shortage. Meaning it's not exclusive to one country, but the whole world is going to experience it. And guess what? The Bible said it first. The Most High said it first. The whole world going to feel it. So wherever you are, if you're in the the islands, if you win Europe, if you win Canada, if you win any country, Africa, you're going to feel the effects of this global food shortage, because the Most High is going to he's judging the world, the entire earth, not just America. Let's jump here real quick. Let's jump here. Because Ukraine, the war within Ukraine and Russia, it do play a major part. It says Ukraine war has stoked global food crisis that could last years, says UN. So this war can affect the food supply chain for years. It has that potential. It says shortages of grain and fertilizers could cause mass hunger and famine. Look at that. It says mass hunger, not just a hunger in one particular country, mass hunger and famine, says Chief, as World Bank pledges $12 billion to ease shortfall. So let's read this. It says the United Nations has warned that the war in Ukraine has helped to stoke a global food crisis that could last years if it goes unchecked, as the World Bank announced an additional $12 billion in funding to mitigate, from saying the right, so lie, from saying it wrong, forgive me, its devastating effects. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said shortages of grain and fertilizers caused by the war, warming temperatures, and pandemic-driven supply problems threaten to tip tens of millions of people over the edge into food insecurity, as financial markets saw share prices fall heavily again on fears of inflation and a worldwide recession. So this is the effect of the Ukraine and Russian war. Jump down. Let's read this. It says, speaking at UN meeting in New York on global food security, he said what could follow would be malnutrition, mass hunger, and famine, and a crisis that could last for years, as he and others urged Russia to release Ukrainian grain exports. Because while Russia's over there at the borders of Ukraine, they stopping the exports of their grains to other countries, because they play a major role in exporting grain. They're one of the world leaders in that. It says, he said he was in intense contact, quote unquote, with Russia and other countries to try to find a solution. It says the complex security, economic, and financial implications requires goodwill on all sides for a package deal to be reached. He said of his discussion with Moscow, Ukraine, Turkey, the US, the European Unions, and others. It says, I will not go into details because public statements could undermine the chances of success. But I want to jump down to this one part. Let me see. Where is it? Here we go. This is right here. Here we go. It says, Moscow's invasion of Ukraine and international economic sanctions on Russia have disrupted supplies of fertilizer, wheat, and other commodities from both countries, pushing up prices for food and fuel, especially in developing nations. Together, the warring nations produce 30% of the world's wheat. That's a lot. If you're talking about the world's wheat production, 30%, that's a lot. It says before the invasion of February, Ukraine was seen as the world's breadbasket, exporting 4.5 million tons of agricultural produce per month. Golly, 4.5 tons of agricultural produce per month through its ports. 12% of the planet's wheat, 15% of its corn, and half of its sunflower oil. It says, but with the ports of Odessa, if I'm saying it right, Kramatorsk, and others cut off from the world by Russian warships, the supply can travel only on congested land routes that are far less efficient. So by this war going on, it's causing the exportation to stop. It says they are the world's breadbasket. for these exportations. They holding 30% of exports. And by this war going on, it's stopping the export of these commodities and grain and fertilizer, meaning by them being put to a stop, you're going to see the supply chain be affected. And it's going to show in your markets when certain food is not there no more because of this war. Remember, we looked up famine and the cause of it. You have all these different factors. So if you take into account of these plant processing facilities, you take into account of inflation, and you take into account of this war, all these things are going to cause a great famine. They are playing a major part of the upcoming famine. Again, this is Bible prophecy. The Most High says it's going to happen. This is how He doing it. This is how the Most High is doing it. For all these major events breaking out, happening around the world, is going to cause that famine. And this is how the Most High is bringing this judgment. Let me see. I think it's more one on here, I believe. That might have been it. Oh, here we go. It says, soaring energy prices have also played a part in the current crisis by making it more expensive to produce fertilizers and to run farm equipment. Russia is the world's top supplier of certain fertilizers and natural gases. So again, by them going to war with Ukraine, and by America putting on sanctions to Russia, is stopping the supply of fertilizer to America. So guess what's going to feel the effects? The farmers. You're trying to grow the crops and everything, get the food ready for the markets, because they don't have fertilizer. It's going to cripple the production of food and supply of food. These different things play a major part in the famine. So let's jump to 2nd Ezra 16 real quick. 2nd Ezra 16. Let's get more scriptures. 16 and start on verse 8. It says, the mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? It says, a fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, Salakia, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with the waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again, until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out, till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. So when the Most High send these plagues out, such as famine and pestilence and destruction, He's not going to return it back. Once He send it out, that's it. It's going to happen. That's it. Once He give that word, it's happening. 100%. It says verse verse 17. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Because Ezra knew that those times that's going to come on the earth is very scary and frightening. It's terrifying. So he's seen these things. He understood these prophecies that's going to come in the world. Verse 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn away their wickedness, nor about always be mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be good in good cases, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So these are the signs of the prophecies. These are the signs of Christ returning. When all these things begin to happen around the world, we know that we at that time. And it's important for us to watch things that's happening all around the world, not just America, but all around the world, because everything going to experience this. Every country going to experience these signs, these plagues that the Most High bringing. Verse 22, it says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." It says, "And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down." So the Most High saying this, we know it's going to happen. And right now, what we reading and what we seeing is the brewing up of a mass famine, a global food shortage. If you ask me, my opinion, I believe that this is the precursor of something way worse coming. In my opinion, I believe that this is the start of the famine, meaning it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse, in my opinion. I believe that, to the point where it is a great and severe famine. Let's get one more prophecy. Revelation 18. The book of Revelation, chapter 18. Going to start it on verse 4. Revelation 18 and verse 4. It says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and am now widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth." So we know this thing is coming upon the world. It's only a matter of time. By us understanding the prophecies and reading and believing it, we know it's going to happen ahead of time. And it's important by us understanding this that we prepare ourselves spiritually and physically. I'm gonna say it again: prepare ourselves spiritually and physically, because in that day, the Most High is going to save and protect those that take heed to this, that take heed to His words, and that abide in His commandments and is obedient. Salakim. Allergies. The Most High is going to protect those that's taking heed to His words. The wicked are going to be destroyed, but those of us who understand and know, if we get ourselves together, the Most High is going to protect us and give us safety. But we got to prepare ourselves for these things to come. Let's go to Isaiah 1 and 18. Real quick. Isaiah 1 and 19. So like it. Isaiah 1 and 19. Let me stop this real quick. We're going to go to Isaiah 1 and 19. We got to prepare ourselves for what's to come. We know the prophecies. We see it happen. We seeing it happen. It's time to get ready for it, spiritually and physically. Isaiah 1 and 19. It says, "If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if ye refuse and rebel, Ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. So the Most High is only going to protect the righteous. In these times, the Most High is only going to protect those who are obedient and walking in his ways. Everybody is not going to be protected by the Most High, because everybody is not going to understand these things, or nor they're going to seek his face. Matter of fact, and Proverbs talks about that. Real quick. I want to pour this out. Because you're going to have people who is not going to believe in this. They think it's a game. They think they can do, whatever they want and live how they want and think nothing's going to happen. Real quick, Proverbs 1 and Psalm verse 22 real quick. It says, how long ye simple ones will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. It says, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regardeth. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and will none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They were none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore they shall eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. And that's the main point. Read again. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. So if we obey and listen to the Most High, we're going to dwell safely. How do we do that? By keeping his commandments and having faith. Having faith and keeping his commandments. That's how we're going to abide in safety and abide by the mercy of the Most High. We follow his ways to obtain mercy. So when these things start to happen, the Most High will mark us as protected. That's what we want. Is that safety and protection through our obedience. Because those who not understanding, those who not following, those who not hearkening to the Most High, those the ones the Most High going to judge and destroy. Those ones going to perish in these type of times we're going to enter into, such as the famine. Let's jump to Job 36. Jump to the book of Job, chapter 36 and verse 6. Job 36 and verse 6. Actually, start from verse 5. It says, behold, God is mighty, and despiseth not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. He preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor. Read it again. It says, he preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth the right to the poor. He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings are they on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted. So, as we can see, the Most High will not preserve the life of the wicked. Those going to die without protection. When things like famine, as we see brewing up, things like famine, things like war, things like death, when these things become on the earth, those who are not protected by the Most High, they're going to die in that. But for those of us trying to strive and have faith and keep the Most High's ways, He's going to protect us. He's going to protect those ones. Let's get Psalms 37. So it's important for us to prepare ourselves spiritually, get our minds right, get our spirits right, get our hearts right. So be obedient, follow the Most High commandments, repenting from sins and praying to him, praying for mercy and forgiveness and protection, because he's the only one that is going to protect, that can protect us, I should say. We got to prepare ourselves spiritually. Let's get Psalms 37, and let's go ahead and jump to verse 18. Psalms 37 and verse 18. It says, "The Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied." Read again, verse 19. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time. We are approaching evil times. We are in these evil times. The righteous not going to be ashamed in that. It says, and in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. How are you going to be satisfied the day of famine? How? There's a scarcity of food. We're going to be satisfied? How is that? Through the Most High's protection. It says, verse 20, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, into smoke shall they consume away. So all these things coming upon the earth is coming upon the wicked. The Most High is bringing judgment upon the wicked. To the whole entire world, not just Esau, not just us, Israel, but the entire world. The entire world is wicked. So the Most High is bringing judgment by famine, destruction, fire, death, all types of things. He's judging the world for the wickedness. So we got to do our part to be safe from that, to be shadowed from that, by following his commandments, by having faith, by having hope in this deliverance, believing in his son, doing everything we can to please the Most High. That's how we're going to be protected and preserved. That's the spiritual aspect. But we also, knowing these prophecies, knowing what's coming, we got to start preparing physically as well. Yes, prepare physically. Yes, we know what's coming. It'll be expedient and wise for us to know what's happening and to begin to prepare ourselves for what's coming. Get what you can. Start stockpiling if you haven't already. Start stockpiling. Start getting your house together for what's coming ahead. Because we know it's coming. We know it's coming. So it'd be wise to prepare our houses for these things, for this famine, this food shortage. Because guess what? We see that in the Bible as well. We see our forefathers prepare for famines. Let's get Genesis 41. We'll read that whole chapter because it's important. It's important to prepare. Those that do prepare, get made fun of, but it's all right. You show your faith by your works. Show your faith by your works and prepare for what's coming. Because our forefathers did. So, Genesis 41 and verse 1. It says, and it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in the meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret the interpret them unto Pharaoh. Salakia. Then spake of the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night. I and he, we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew, servant of the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams, to each man according to his dream he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was, me and restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Slack, y'all, messing up with that. Verse 14. It says, Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and he brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I had dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand the dream to interpret. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and he fed in the middle. And behold, 7 of the kind came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kind did eat up the first 7 fat kind. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as at the beginning. So I woke, and I saw my dream, and behold, 7 ears come up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it unto me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. So we go see here that Joseph is going to interpret the dream. Verse 26. It says, The 7 good kind are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one, meaning they both had the same meaning. It says, And the 7 thin and ill-favored kind that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. So what Pharaoh seen in his dream was 7 years of famine. 7 good years of good plentiful food, and then after that, 7 years of famine. It says, This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall rise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. So that famine is going to get bad in that time. It says, And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be grievous. And for that the dream was double unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. So back then, Pharaoh he seen the dreams that was going to happen to Egypt. That was God showing him, and by Joseph, he interpreted it. Now, the same way today, we read in the prophecies, we read what Christ said about these things going to happen at the end. The Most High is showing us these things are going to happen. He's going to shortly bring it to pass. But now watch this though. Let's keep reading. Verse 33. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and to take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the city. So what? In other words, they what? They prepared for this. They knew what the Most High was going to do, so they prepared themselves for it. Once those 7 good years come, they were stocking up and stockpiling, getting ready for the famine. That's the same thing we should be doing in these last times. Remember, we show our faith by our works. We know and understand the Most High word is true, is going to happen. So we got to be in position to act accordingly. We got to do our part now. We got to follow what He's going to say and move accordingly. The same thing happened back then in Egypt with Joseph. Let's continue though. It says, and that food shall be stored to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, For as much as God has shown thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had, and they cried before him, bowed the knee. And he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephnath-Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years of the earth brought forth handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years, which were in the land of Egypt. And he laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. So what was he doing? He was stockpiling. He was stockpiling. They knew what the Most High was going to bring in those after those 7 years. So by them being wise, they stockpiled and prepared for it. So yes, we must first and foremost prepare our spirits and our minds and get aligned with the Most High for things to come, for the evil time, but also physically. We gotta prepare physically. That's how the Most High going to protect us in those days. We can't just sit around and do nothing. That's not wise. Doing nothing is not going to do it. Faith alone doesn't work. You need the faith and the works. Because I believe the Most High's words, I believe it's going to happen, I'm going to do this. That's how that works. That's how that works. So like it. Let's keep going. It says, verse 50, And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God said, He hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God had caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Egypt were ended. And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said, and the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread, and Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he said to you do. So guess what? Because the Most High was with Joseph, he was able to show the Egyptians that, listen, we got to prepare and stock up on food, while the entire rest of the world was caught off guard. They was unprepared. They did not know what was going on. They did not know a famine was going to hit, so they couldn't prepare for it. But by us being spiritual, by us understanding and believing the prophecies, we know it's going to happen. We know it's going to come. So it'd be wise for us and expedient for us to prepare ourselves and start stockpiling. Ain't nothing wrong with doing that, getting your house ready. There's nothing wrong with stockpiling and getting your house ready for what's to come. Because only in that time the Most High can protect us. We got to do our parts. Verse 56, it says, and the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all lands. So check that out. The entire earth was feeling the effects of the famine for 7 years. But in Egypt, they was good. Why? Because they prepared. They prepared for that. They knew it was coming and they prepared for that. So it's important to not only get our souls and our spirit rights, but also our houses. Physically. Do what you can. Do what you got to do to prepare for what's coming. Because it's going to get worse. Right now we have grace to get ourselves together, but that's going to run out soon. We got to start getting ourselves ready. We see it coming. We see it coming. Let's move accordingly and prepare for it. Let's jump to on top of that, I want to say too, not only him, but also Noah. Another example of preparing for what's coming was Noah. When you look at the ark, the flood, he had to prepare for that. He had to prepare for that. Most High told him, and he prepared for it. Genesis 6. Genesis 6 real quick. Genesis 6 and verse, I'm going to start on verse 5. Genesis 6 and verse 5. It says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repented me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. It says, these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation, and Noah walked with God. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Verse 14. Make thee an ark of ophir wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. Jump down to verse 22. It says, thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him, so he did. So he had to do what? He had to prepare that ark. He had to get that ark ready because what? God told him that he's going to destroy the earth by the flood. Did Noah sit around and did nothing? No. Because he believed God and had faith in him, he made that ark. Real quick, Hebrews 11. Real quick. Hebrews 11. These are examples of getting ourselves together and getting ourselves prepared. Hebrews 11 and verse 7. It says, by faith, Noah being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. Read again real quick. It says, by faith, Noah being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. So Noah believed in the Most High and prepared the ark for what was to come. It says he moved with fear and prepared the ark. How much more us today? We read these examples, and we follow it. So if it's prophesied and Christ spoke of a famine and destruction and death by famine, how much more should we prepare for that? Prepare our hearts, our soul, our faith, and also our works to reflect that. We know all these signs coming, so we gotta do our part and start getting ready for it. I'm telling y'all, Israel, start getting ready. Start doing what you can. Start stockpiling, getting things lined up for what's to come. There's nothing wrong doing that. That's wise. That's wise to do that. Because when come a time where you're not gonna be able to do that. The family gonna be great, and you're not gonna be able to find or stock up on stuff. It's gonna be too late. Remember the parable of the brides, the 10 brides. 5 had oil for their lamps and 5 didn't. They was caught out there and was caught off guard because they wasn't prepared for it. They was not prepared. We can't be like that. We show our faith through our works. We believe the word, so we're going to move accordingly. Like I said, start stockpiling, getting things lined up. Getting things lined up, getting things prepared. Get your house ready. Get your families ready. Men, brothers, get your families lined up and prepared for what's to come. Because we know it's going to come. Like for me, for example, I did not too long ago. I started getting things together because I know it's going to get real. I do want to give us some recommendations though. I do want to talk about that a little bit, like things we can start getting together, things we can start stocking on. Because right now we have the means to, so we must take advantage. Let me share my screen real quick. Hold up. Let me share my screen real quick. And I'm going to show you something real quick. Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Now, what I do is I know a lot of people talk about things like MREs, things like that, right? And do things like canned foods and all this stuff, which is good. But what I recommend for those that be wise, what I recommend is getting things like this. Y'all can see this. Freeze-dried food. I recommend getting freeze-dried food, and the reason being because of the shelf life and everything it can retain and hold on to as far as the vitamins and nutrients, right? Check this out. We're going to read this. It says, one of the biggest benefits of freeze-dried food is its shelf life. All methods of food preservation have their pros and cons, but freeze-drying is particularly effective in creating food that retains its nutrition for the long term. Whether you're looking to preserve ingredients to add to your product or you're stocking up on emergency supplies, shelf life is something to consider, right? Because by all these things happening in the world, it's wise and important for us to start stocking up on supplies. You better do it while you can. Start stocking up. It says shelf life is something to consider because truthfully, we don't know when it's going to happen. We just know it's going to happen. The Most High gave that word, and we know it's going to happen. When? We don't know. So it's important by these signs that we're seeing, these plants being burned down, the inflation rising up, the war within Ukraine and Russia, fertilizer and grains and wheat is not being exported. But we seeing that, we should start stocking. We should. I'm being straight up. Start stocking and start stockpiling. It says shelf life terminology. It says when products, let's say, tout a long shelf life, I don't know what the word says like it. It can mean one of two things. First, the best if used by shelf life indicates the length of time food retains most of its original taste and nutrition. This is the date listed on most products in the grocery stores. it'll typically be between a few weeks and a few years, depending on the product. So you go to the store, you buy your stuff, and it got the best buy dates on it, and it'll be like from anywhere from weeks to months, maybe a year, things like that. But when you're looking at freeze dried, here's the benefit of this. Let me jump down. Look at this. Look at this. Dehydrated versus freeze dried. Now I'm dropping gems on y'all because I'm telling y'all better start hopping on this while you can. It says many people think freeze dried products and dehydrated products are the same thing. While they are both good for long-term storage and emergency kits, their life-sustaining shelf life is different as is their preservation process. It says for moisture, freeze drying removes about 98% of the moisture in food, while dehydrating removes about 90%. It says shelf life, the moisture content has an effect on shelf life, with freeze-dried foods lasting between 25 and 30 years and dehydrated products lasting about 15 to 20 years. So imagine if you start stocking up on freeze-dried foods, you can expect it to last while still maintaining its nutrients and vitamins and all these things. You can expect it to last 25 to 30 years. That's a long time. That is a long time. A very long time for food to be preserved in case of things like famine and food shortage. It says freeze-dried food retains most of the original vitamins and minerals of fresh produce, while the dehydration process can easily break down those nutrition. Now imagine that. When you get your freeze-dried food, that thing gonna last almost the exact same for 25 to plus 30 years. I recommend all Israel who are wise and serious about this to look into getting freeze-dried food. Canned food, it seems like that's the way to go, but not really, because even those don't last that long. When you're trying to like stock up on cans, things like that, like canned beans and what else, like canned corn and canned green beans and all that, that stuff don't last long. But when you go the freeze-dried route, and it could be anything. When you freeze dry anything, any kind of food, it will retain its nutrition and minerals, and it will last 25 to 30 years. You can't beat that. So I encourage Israel that's watching this to start getting your house together with this. Start stocking up on freeze dried and start preparing yourselves, preparing your houses, preparing your minds, your spirits, preparing your families for this. Because believe me, it's going to come a time where those days are gone. Especially when inflation going up. Imagine paying 40, 50 bucks for a loaf of bread. It may come a time where you can't really buy food like that. So it's important to start doing what we can now. Start stocking up now while we can. While we still can. While it's still, affordable. Before things start going through the roof and things become scarce. Let me jump here real quick. Look at this. So to further elaborate on that, we're gonna look at the difference: freeze dried versus canned. I do freeze dried. That's what I do. I don't really do cans too much. I do freeze dried because I know it's gonna last a long time. Now there's some things to consider while doing this too. Let me see. Jump down real quick. Look at this. This out here. It says the pros of freeze dried. It says the process of freeze drying food and medicine is time tested. Medicines were freeze dried in World War II for stable transport, and freeze dried meals have been around for decades. The two primary benefits of going the freeze dried route with your survival meals are that number one, the meals are lightweight, and number two, they have a long shelf life. With the weight of water removed, most meals are a fraction of the weight of the original food. This is ideal for backpacking and bugging out. It says the careful packaging of freeze-dried goods will keep the food safe and edible for many years. A side benefit from this drying process is the improved preservation of vitamins and other nutrients over the damaging heat of the canning process. Jump down. Now here's the bad side to this, and to me, it's not really a bad side at all. Personally, it says the cons of freeze dried. The two biggest cons of freeze dried food are the price and the fact that preparation is required for most foods. So when you start looking to like freeze dried food, it can get pretty pricey. I'm not gonna lie, it can be pretty pricey. But for what we're doing it for and what's coming, it's well worth it. Well worth it. And I'm gonna show you some examples too. It says freeze dried food can cost as much as $8 a meal. This can add up fast if you're purchasing for a large group or for a long span of time. And while some dried meals and foods are ready, so I get this out of here. While freeze-dried food are ready to eat or just need cold water, most meals need hot water. This means you have to get a cooking source fired up, heat some water, and wait for the food to cook or probably rehydrate. And that's not 100% true. You actually can put room temperature or cold water into the food and let it sit, and it's going to rehydrate, and you'll be good to eat. Worst case scenario, but we talk about things like famine and being, lack of food, being stuck home. We'll be good. You'll be good with this. It says the packaging is also more vulnerable to rodents and insects than cans. Unless you're ordering from a manufacturer, you may have a hard time finding the meals and food you're looking for, and most stores do not sell that many freeze-dried food. Now, one thing I want to point out, it mentions the packaging. You also have number 10 cans freeze-dried food as well. And I'm going to show you that real quick. But the packaging, it's not a con as well. Look at this. And this is why I don't really go the canned food route. This right here, it says, here's the pros first. It says availability, cost, and durability are the three main perks of going with canned foods. It says any grocery store in the land will supply us with cans of chili, soup, meat, fish, and even canned bread and crackers. The cost is about 1/3 the price of freeze-dried food per meal on average. The cans are also rodent and insect proof because it's a can. It says the cons of can. It says canned food is heavy. It doesn't last as long as freeze-dried food, and many vitamins are destroyed by the heat used in canning the food. You also need a can opener unless you are dealing with the pop top can, which is less durable than a regular can. Another problem is that cans will burst if frozen severely enough. This makes canned food a bad choice for winter survival food in a vehicle. And this is why I don't go the canned route, because it don't last long, and over time it will lose nutrition and vitamins. But when you go with freeze dried, everything remains the same. Everything is still intact for years and years and years at a time. It will not go bad. That's why I personally go the freeze dry route. And I want to show y'all a few examples. I gotta show y'all because it's only right if I show y'all. I gotta show y'all. I gotta put your own game for those who want to start doing this. I encourage everybody. But you have some people that's in like they do like that's out in the country, they'll like do farms and like raise their own food. But for those of us that can't, this is a good avenue. This is a good way to start preparing yourself, preparing your houses. Look at this. All this is freeze dried. This is freeze dried. All this. Check this out. Get it from Amazon. Like I said, it can be pretty pricey, but it is a good investment in my opinion. It is. We know what's coming. We know what's around the corner. It's important for us to start doing something. Let's not start. Let's not sit around and just, what I'm saying, just watch and don't do nothing and think, what I'm saying, just by sitting around and doing nothing, we're gonna be good. It don't work like that. Remember, Joseph and Pharaoh had to prepare that whole country for that 7-year famine. We got to do the same. We got to prepare our houses and our families for what's coming. But look at this. Let's keep going. These are all different things you can get that's freeze dried. It's going to last you for 20 plus years. Look at this. Now these is bulk. You know what I'm saying? Like this price is for like bulk kits. You don't have to buy like that. You can buy it individually. Look at this. You know, create your little budget. Put some money to the side to start investing in this. That's what I do. I'm telling y'all because I do this. I make me a little budget of what I'm gonna spend for the week, and I invest it in preparation. Look at this. These are all examples. Let's keep going. Let me see. Look at this. Different things you can get. And so much you can stock up on. It's going to last for years. You got buckets and you got tin cans. Buckets and tin cans. These number 10 cans, they last a long time. And the reason why it's important to get the number 10 can type of packaging is because the metal on the inside of the can, it don't affect the food. It preserve it actually. It don't because like you know how like certain things like plastic and like certain type of metals, it can contaminate the food and all that. But with these number 10 cans, the metal that they use, it preserves the food. So it don't go bad, it don't get affected. It's safe and it will last you for years. But these things you can get. Look, dang potato slices and they got black bean burgers and look, dried eggs, onions, like they got all kinds of stuff. But I'm showing y'all to say, man, start getting ready for this, man. Start getting ready. Start getting ready. Start stocking up. Get what you can while you can now. And by us doing that, the Most High, He will handle the rest of it. Because ultimately, we know protection comes from the Lord. But we have to do what we can now to start preparing ourselves for what's to come. So that's that. Let me come back here. Let me stop this. So yeah, we see what's coming. This famine is no joke, and it's going to hit. This famine is going to hit. So we gotta start getting ready. We gotta start getting ready. Also, another thing is too, I don't recommend MREs because those don't they're not good for lasting long either. And it's not healthy. You know, I know some people they'll do like MREs, things like that, but those not healthy. Those not, you know, in the long run when you're stockpiling, that's not good. Like I said, I recommend everybody to go the freeze dried route because it's going to last a long time and it won't go bad. It really will not go bad. It won't go bad. But look, let's go ahead and get back to the scripts. Back to the scripts. Because by us doing our part, the Most High is going to protect us in those times. For those that be wise. Joel chapter 5, real quick. Joel chapter 5, verse 19. It says, He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death. And in war from the power of the sword, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Why are we going to laugh? Because in that time, we're going to be protected by the Most High. We're going to be protected by the Most High when that time comes. We had faith and we moved accordingly, and the Most High is protecting us. That's why in famine, we're going to laugh at. It says, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. It says, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee, and thou shalt know that thy tabernacle, your house, shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation and shall not sin. So by us doing what we got to do, getting our spirits together, getting our houses together, We're going to be at peace when all these things start hitting the fan. When chaos kicks off and all kind of anarchy and riots, by us preparing our hearts, our spirits, and our houses during that time, we're going to laugh at these things. We're going to be protected. That's why it's important, as we read earlier, all these different signs and these factors that's going to create this worldwide food shortage. It's important, imperative that we start getting ready. And I encourage everybody watching, start getting ready, start preparing, start stocking. Forget what everybody else say. Show your faith by your works. Start stocking up and get things together for when that time comes. Remember, Romans 15:4. For whatsoever thing written aforetime was written for our learning, that through patience and faith we might have hope. I'm paraphrasing, but you understand what I'm saying, what the scripture is. So from there, let's jump to Psalms 33. Psalms 33, and we're going to pick this up on verse 18. Psalms 33 and verse 18. It says, behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him. So only those that fear the Most High, he's going to protect in those days. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Read again, verse 19. It says, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. We put our hope and our trust in the Lord to protect us in these evil times. We have to put our trust and our hope in the Lord for these evil times. And by doing that, we putting our hope and our trust in him, and we showing it through our action, our works, moving accordingly. That's how we do that. That's how we ensure our protection and safety within the Most High. From there, let's go to chapter 37. From there, chapter 37, and we're going to read verse 18. It says, the Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. It says, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume into smoke, shall they consume away. So again, the Most High only going to protect those that trust in him and follow his ways and is obedient to his ways and is taking heed to the prophecies. The rest of everybody else that's out here, you know what I'm saying, like just living their life any kind of way, not taking heed to the Most High, those are the ones going to perish. They're going to die without protection. So we got to move with wisdom and in righteousness. We get a few more, we're going to close out. Get a few more. Let's go to Leviticus 25. A few more, then we're going to close out. Leviticus 25. We're going to pick this up on. We're going to pick this up on 18 again. Leviticus 25, verse 18 again. It says, wherefore you shall do my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land in safety, and the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill and dwell therein safely. Dwell therein in safety. Like it. So if we keep the Most High commandments, keep his statutes, we're going to dwell in the land in safety, protected, untouched. But we have to be doing the Most High commandments. We got to be following him, because all this stocking and all this trying to get your house ready and stockpiling, that ain't gonna mean nothing if your spirit's not right with the Most High. Because you have people now that's they getting ready, they stockpiling, they getting things together, food and water and contingency plans and all these things together. They doing that, but that's not gonna mean nothing. Their hope is in vain if they're not following the Most High, and that's the key. You gotta have the Most High with you. So a lot of people doing that, they're gonna fail. They're going to fail. Let's get one more. Luke 21:36. So I'm telling y'all now, be wise and start getting things together. Start stocking up. Do what you can. Because that time's going to come when we can't no more. That time's going to come when we can't no more. We know it's coming. Luke 21 and verse 36. It says, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Read it one more time. It says, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. That we can escape these evil times. All these plagues the Most High going to send upon the earth. We got to pray and watch and prepare ourselves so that we can be found worthy to be safe from all that, to be protected from all of that. So we got to start getting ready and getting things in order and getting our spirits cleansed. So when that time do come, there's protection there. There's safety and peace. So we can laugh at famine and death. Because we know it's coming. The Most High words are true. The Most High's words are true. So, like I said, family, we see it's coming. The famine is coming. Start getting ready. Be wise. Start getting ready. Start stocking up. Do what you can. Getting things in order. Getting things planned. So when that time do come, we are good. We're good. Don't watch this and still sit back and do nothing. No, start getting together. Start getting yourself ready. Because the time is going to come. That time is going to come. That's pretty much all I got, family. That's pretty much all I got. Lord willing, y'all take heed. Lord willing, this was edifying. Lord willing, you continue to be encouraged and motivated. And Lord willing, this, help you to get things together and encourage you to get things together. So before I close out, I do want to leave it open for anybody got any questions, comments, concerns before I close out. But that's pretty much all I got. All I can say is we see it coming, start getting ready. Start getting ready. So I'm gonna give it some time for any questions, any comments before I close out. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody that tuned in. Shabbat Shalom. Hopefully you all been edified. And for those who coming in late, it will be uploaded, so you're not going to miss it. KH Shalom, Shalom. I can read Isaiah 65:13 if you will. No problem, family. I got you. 65:13. Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 13. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, I'm going to keep reading, verse 14. That's a fire precept. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. That's fire precept. That's right. That goes hand in hand to what we read earlier. The servants of the Most High is going to eat and be filled. But those are the wicked, those who that's not under Most High mercy, that's not protected, they're going to be hungry. They're going to be thirsty, and they're going to be ashamed. That's a fire precept. I like that precept. That's a good precept. If we'll be obedient, like we read in Isaiah 19, we're going to eat the good of the land. That's a good precept. Yeah, family. Start. Yeah. Get ready for it. Prepare your houses. Start stocking up. Like I said, I do freeze dry. I don't do the canned foods and all that. I'll do like buckets of the freeze dry and do the tin can freeze dry. So like I'll do the tin can freeze dry. So buckets and cans of the freeze dry only. Like I said, I just do that. I don't do regular store uh, grocery store cans because they don't last long. And these things get from Amazon. Get it from Amazon. Your markets, forget that. When it comes to stocking, forget the markets. Go to Amazon and start getting those freeze dried. You could do the like I said, the tin cans. You can do the buckets, or you can do like the packets, the bags, and all that. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back to it real quick. Just to show y'all real quick, because I didn't really. I was going through it, but just to show y'all real quick what I'm talking about. Look at this. Let me go back to it. So, like here, for example, look at this. You can do like the either the bags. Let me see. Either bags like this. You can do that, the individual packets, or you can do the buckets. Let me see. Let me go back. Like this right here, the buckets, and these buckets are big. I'm telling you, these are big buckets. These are big buckets, and you can do the tin cans like these right here. So I do these two mostly, the tin cans and the buckets, and they all freeze dry. I don't do no, you know what I'm saying? Like I would, cause before I was doing like I was buying like bags of rice and beans stuff like that. But even that, it's gonna go bad after a while. But when you do freeze dried buckets and containers, things like that, no, you good. It's gonna last. And they got different things. They got so many different things you can do. They got the chicken rice and all that. They got the beef dices. And if you're gonna do like these right here, the buckets. See, this 2 weeks. I don't do that. I do like let me see. I get things like this. Now when you get things like this, make sure you check the labels too for everything that's in the food. You want to make sure it's kosher. Make sure it don't have no pork in it. Make sure it don't have no abominations. Certain things, make sure it don't have like no leaven in it for when you're trying to store it and past will come around. Make sure it had no leaven in it because you're gonna have to get rid of that. If you like stock it up on certain things and you find out it got leaven, you gotta get rid of it. So, but this right here, I do things like this, and it's kosher. It's kosher, and you can see it got all kind of stuff in it. And look right here, look at this. It shows you the servings and the calories. So that's that's a lot of stuff in there. That's a lot of look at this. That's a lot of stuff. Now imagine you get about 10 buckets of these, about 10 buckets, 10 to 15 buckets. You good for like almost a year. Half a year, close to a year, depending on how you ration it out. But this will last you. You get some of this. Let me see. Get about 10 buckets of those. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back. God forgive me, my laptop is old, so it goes slow. Let me see. What's another good one? Like things like this. Look at this. Check these labels. You know what I'm saying? See what you're getting. Make sure it's kosher, and just go ahead and get it. Like I said, I don't really do too much bulk because of my budget. You know what I'm saying? Just all if you can get 6 cans at one time, do that. You know what I'm saying? But the way my budget is, I kind of do it a certain way. But if I can just get all these at one time, I definitely would. I'm telling you, I would. I would do that if you got the means to. Let me see. So this with lasagna with the beef, tomatoes. You know what I'm saying? Whole meals. These are whole these are whole meals that you can stock up on. And it's freeze dry. All you gotta do is add water to it, stir it up. You good to go. That's it. Look right here. I tell you. Look at this. Let me see. I'm telling y'all, family, stop playing around. Like, get on this. Look, I tell you how to do it. Easy, 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 easy. Then you can check the label, see what's on it, see what's in it, how much, and just go from there. You know what I'm saying? Just go from there. So that's what I do. That's my method of preparing and stocking. You know what I'm saying? Y'all may find better ways, but you know that's what I do. Cause we can't play around. We can't play around. You know what I'm saying? It's time to get ready, get that spirits right, and prepare our houses for all these things. So that's what I do, family. And I advise y'all and encourage y'all to do the same thing. Let me see. Yeah, Con. Yeah, yeah. Freeze dry. Yeah, that's the way. That's the way. The freeze dry is definitely the way to go. All that, trying to get the cans from the markets, it's not gonna last long. Yeah, keep rebuying it, keep restocking, throw the old ones out, put new ones. You just wasting money at that point. Wasting money. But the freeze dry, stock up on that, you're good to go. James 1 and 1. Therefore, I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, you shall drink, nor yet for your body. What you shall put on is not the life. Good precept, but I don't know what you're trying to say about that. Are you saying to say not to stock up? If that's the case, then you be my guest. If you're saying that to say not to stock up, then you be my guest. You go in and be unwise if you want to. It's the spirit. I was looking for cans and stuff. Look, all praises. All praises to the Most High. All praises. That is the spirit. It is. Calm. So after the Sabbath, if y'all can, man, get something. I'm telling y'all, get something. Even if it's little, every week try to get more and more if you can. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to come in clutch. It's going to come in clutch. Con, for sure, for sure. That's the moves. I'm telling you, that's the moves. You know what I'm saying? So try to put something together just to help Israel out. You know what I'm saying? It's only right. I can't just be doing that and not, tell my people. You know what I'm saying? That's not love. You know what I mean? I'm doing this, so I want y'all to get on board too. You know what I'm saying? Get your house together, get your spirits right. So that time come, we can laugh at it, as the scriptures say. So before I close out, any more comments, any more questions? Because I'm about to close this thing out. Just want to come on here real quick and share that with y'all. Any more questions or comments before I close out? The water for everybody tuned in. The water, praise the Most High. And hopefully, this helped somebody. I know it did have to feed people, but if anybody else watching, I hope it definitely helped you out. Any more questions, comments before I close out? Give it a few more seconds. All right. God. Kwam Yasha Allah, stay circumspect and diligent in the word. That's right. That's right. So with that being said, that's all I have, family. Lord willing, definitely helped y'all a lot. Lord willing, y'all continue to have a blessed and restful Sabbath. Hold up. Continue to have a blessed and restful Sabbath. Yeah, yeah. Get something that's going to purify water. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Get things going to purify water. I think they got things like life straws, where it's like a straw, and inside it, it's like different filter contents or like filtration system inside the straw or something like that. A life straw. Could be saying it wrong, but yeah, definitely get that too. You know what I'm saying? It's wise to get that. But like I said, Lord willing, gonna continue to have a blessed Sabbath. And until next time, family. Until next time, I wanna say shalom to everybody, shalom to your families, and that is it. So let me see. I can't post it I can't post. Let me see. I can't post that link. Hold on. Let me see if I can just pull it real quick though, before I close it out real quick. So apparently, a brother just sent this to me. It says emergency zone, long-term water storage and treatment. It says water bags. I don't know if you can see it, but let me see. I can see this. Emergency zone, long-term water storage and treatment set BPA free water bags. So I guess something else y'all can get for water storage. Yeah, look into all that. Look into all that. You know what I'm saying? Do what you can. Try to get water, try to get food, do all that. But start getting ready. Start getting ready because time is short and the family's around the corner. So, like I said, that's all I got. Until next time, family. Shalom. I'm going to end it right here.